Now the flash is on. All right, I'm gonna show you the inside of this real quick, and then I'm gonna hand the camera off to him. You see all the carbon buildup inside of there? It's a lot of gunk inside of this engine everywhere you look. Everywhere you look, this engine is gunked up. And this is after I already cleaned a lot of it. So this engine, I'm gonna record inside of this hole. That's the oil pump down there. A little slot for like a flathead screwdriver to fit into. That's what the bottom of the distributor grabs onto, and the oil pump spins that. So, I mean, if you look at these push rods, look how caked up all this is.
As long as we don't spin the balancer, we won't have to worry about the distributor being off.
Look at that. Yeah, I'm not spinning that. That's in time.
Well, as long as you don't spin it, we don't have to worry about it being off because it'll sit right down in the oil pump.
Yeah. So, I'll let you hold this for a second. So what it takes is obviously removing this gasket carefully, right? Because it's gonna come off in pieces most likely. Oh my goodness, look how it just crumbles in your hand, and you don't want this stuff falling in the engine. I'm gonna run the vacuum cleaner in here and suck up as much as I can. But, I mean, this is what happens when people don't give a shit about their engine and they don't change the oil on time and they just run it and who cares kind of attitude, right? And then by the time someone that cares like you gets their hands on it and owns it, we're like almost too far gone to legitly bring it back the way it needs to be brought back. This is really needing a full rebuild. That's really what we need here. Like to pull this whole entire engine out and do a full rebuild, or to make it reliable, or get another engine that doesn't look like this inside. I can't warranty this work. Like, no matter how nice and clean and perfectionist I am, like, you just can't clean that in there. There's no way I'm gonna get that clean in there. So unfortunately, I wish I had better news for you, but this is very bad news. This is not good news at all. This is, you want to open this up and see a nice pretty gold color in here. You don't want to see this kind of mess in here. So yeah, bro, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. If I did this much work mechanic wise for anyone else, I'd charge at least $600 labor. Forget about parts, just flat labor, just for my time to go down this far into the engine. $600 labor to put it back together. And it ain't my damn fault that it looks like this. I put it together. If this intake leaks, if the head gasket's blown and mixes coolant with oil, ain't my fault. I didn't do this. You know, so no matter how good of a job I do at this point, you're dealing with this inside. Now, that's the hard truth that you don't want to say but needs to be said. Moving further on, I'm gonna be optimistic. I don't want you going to bed hugging your teddy bear and crying tonight. I want to give you some hope. It's a chance that I could clean this up with the vacuum. I'm not gonna clean too much. I'm just gonna get all the gasket stuff off of it, put the new gaskets on it, right? And
get some of that nastiness out of the intake.
Yeah, and see all that under there? That's the old gasket. Look at them chunks. So all that needs to come off. All this needs to get scraped clean and put the new gasket on it. And once it's all cleaned and gets a new gasket, it could very well be that the sun shines on a dog's ass and you get some more time and miles out of this before it says F you and explodes or overheats or blows another hose. Who knows what happens? A lifter freezes up, a bearing throws a bearing. Who knows what's going to happen with an engine like this? I wouldn't even put synthetic oil in an engine this dirty. I would just put regular, like O'Reilly's brand oil.
Mix it with mystery oil.
No. If you do that, it's going to loosen up a lot of this. And if you loosen up too much of this, you get a blockage. You know how small the oil lube holes going through those am I on camera?
Yeah, there you are.
All right, so the push rods right here, you see these push rods? These push rods go through, I don't know if you can see down in there into the lifters. Can you get a shot of them? If you tap the camera, it'll focus.
You can't really see the lifters through there.
I could see it from this side over here. Let me see.
Yeah.
And so, let's
Can't really see the actual lifters because they're covered in crap.
Hold on. I gotta turn the camera around to where you can see it down there. Okay, down there. That's your camshaft, and that's your lifters. That's one of the lifters riding on that camshaft. And you could already see the wear marks on the camshaft. And so, how much longer before one of them lifters gets some of this gunk stuck up in there and decides to get stuck? And if you put something in here to clean it, I mean, what are you going to do? Some of that stuff is going to end up getting lodged up somewhere it shouldn't be as it's cleaning itself. So, long story short, you have to hold it sideways or there you go. Yeah, so long story short, you don't want to clean this. You want to run regular oil in it. And all I can say is change the oil with cheap oil, but change it often. Like 2,500, 2,000 miles, 3,000 miles.
Heck, cheap oil
at max. Yeah, he's not going to do every 1,000. You got to be realistic with these people. I mean, most people will go 5,000 miles before they change it thinking their engine is good and it's fine, right? Because that's what they see on the label when they buy the oil. But this engine, this old, you better be changing the oil every 2,000 to 3,000 max. And just cross your fingers and pray that you get some time. All I would say is just cheap oil, change it often with a good filter. Put this gasket on, cross our heart and hope for the best, and start looking for a V8 motor that you can pop in here. Like a 4.8, a 5.3 motor out of a Silverado. Get rid of this, pop that in here. You won't have a truck payment and you'll have a damn good truck that'll be able to carry some weight. I'll check the motor for you before you pay for it. That way you know you're getting a motor that doesn't look like this inside. And I'll drop it in for you. In the meantime, we're gonna button this thing up and give it back to you. And I wish I had better news for you. Sorry, man. It is what it is. I'm gonna do the best I can, brother, because I appreciate you. But to everyone else watching, this is what happens if you don't change your oil. The engine had more life in it, but there were some cheap bastard before the customer that has it now didn't give 2 cents. And just kept running on the same crappy oil forever and ever and ever and sludged it all up in here. Anyways, it's a big job. Anybody wondering what it costs to remove the lower intake, put a water pump, do all this stuff, the whole front end of this motor on a 4.3 VORTEC? I don't know about you, but I wouldn't do this job for a penny less than 600. Any less than that, I'm shooting myself in the foot. It ain't worth it. And that's like being nice. Go to Pecker Boys and see what they charge you just labor for doing this. Go down to one of them shops and get a quote. You won't like it. It'll be worth more than what the truck's worth. I guarantee you. You're in the thousands. You're in the 4-digit numbers, not in the 3-digit numbers. Anyways, I don't want to yap too much. I gotta get to scraping and cleaning this nastiness job that nobody wants to do. You think it's just clean this? Every bracket and everything that came on here has to get cleaned also. So tonight is clean, clean, clean. Tomorrow it's put back together. Look how nasty these valve covers are. Nobody has been in this motor or done any work in here for who knows how long. This was a neglected truck. with an asshole previous owner that neglected it, that treated it like a bastard stepchild that he didn't give two shits about. So, sucks. It is what it is. I'll clean it up. Video don't lie. Catch you on the next one.